It's preparing. And we are live on Facebook. We are now streaming. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Solution Sunday, where I am so excited today. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. I'm the creator of Solution Sunday because the soul is the solution. Is through the soul that we start creating heaven on earth. And today I have a very dear friend. My special guest is Miss Helene Watrous. Helene is the epitome of the untethered soul, the free to be herself. Helene came into my life at a time when I was feeling really, really weighed down and structured and not free. And when Helene came into my life, she showed me a whole different way of being. So I wanted to share her with you today because we all need a little bit of freedom and ease and light in our lives. And this little beautiful soul is the light that is shining bright as Helene Watrous. So welcome, Helene.
Wow, thank you, Lisa, for that beautiful introduction. I'm glad to be here with all of you guys today. And oh man, traveling light and just going with the flow is what I do. Just following the feel through nature and listening to my intuition.
I love that. You know, when you first, Helene came and she stayed with me for a little while. She was my roommate for a bit when she needed a little spot of refuge. So that's kind of the beginning of our friendship. And Helene would say, wow, I really want to travel. I want to go to Costa Rica. I would love to go to Costa Rica. And guess what? It wasn't very long after that that somebody packed up a bag and headed off to Costa Rica. Tell us how that started. How do you manifest these things?
So, Lisa, you taught me so much, and listening to my intuition and my soul's calling and the journey that I was on. And I had felt it through the animals, because animals go with the flow, they go with the seasons, they eat when they need to eat. So I've followed the feel with animals, and animals also migrate with the seasons and different things. But when I learned from you is to tap into that intuition, and by consciously creating the goal, that idea that you have to travel or go somewhere, and really put some effort into it, write it down, then you're able to manifest it so much quicker, versus wanting and feeling a lack of something that you don't have already. What you taught me to do is feel like I already have it, feel like I already live it, and then it comes to fruition. So thank you, Lisa.
My pleasure. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you really kind of started out in this life with animals and horses. You're a huge horse person. You're really tuned in, tapped in, turned on by horses.
Yes, I am. My mom used to strap me to the front of the saddle when I was 2 with a belt, and I just remember riding with my friends, and I'd fall asleep by the time we got home. And that's how comfortable I was on the horses. And she used to put me in the hay manger for the horses to watch me. It was my crib, was watching the horses eat. So I got to see all of their actions and their body language and how they talk to each other through their facial features and their ears. And yeah, it's really interesting. So another little language I learned as a 2-3-year-old.
Wow, how beautiful. And it's such a natural language. You know, that language, that body language, that telepathic communication, the nonverbal communication you know, because obviously animals don't speak English, French, and German, so we can't communicate through language so much. You know, they can learn commands and things, but all of us, we all are like the animals. We all communicate with body language, with emotion, with energy. So
Yeah.
it's so beautiful that you have learned how that natural communication happens.
It's been amazing the more that I feel into it, you know, because you get stuck in the box of time, and we're conditioned to follow the rules of society. And I was stuck in that box for a little bit, and I knew it didn't feel good. It didn't feel right to me, and I was manifesting things that I didn't want to, and caught up in the vortex. And then when I'm out on the farm and living and working with nature, with the seasons, resting when I needed to, and taking lunch when I needed to, and just kind of off the clock, off the schedule, that's when things really started working out for me. And I noticed that quickly. And so it's the clarity that comes from being in nature and following nature, that your soul is easily shining through at that point and guiding you with your intuition and through feel. And you just got to feel that. Yeah.
It's so true, because as humans, we have been so conditioned and regimented, you know, that you go to school at this time, you go to work at this time, you take your lunch at this time, you go home at this time, you go to sleep at this time, you have your dinner at this time. And we get into these patterns of, we just do the same thing all the time without really thinking about it. You know, we eat breakfast at the same time when we get up, whether our body actually requires food at that time or not, or we take our lunch at the same time, whether our bodies are actually hungry at that time. Maybe they're not. You know, when we're working a 9-to-5 job, it's like you have that lunch hour and that's when you eat. But that's not always when our bodies need that. So it's beautiful that you were able to really develop that and start listening to your inner guidance at such an early age.
Yeah.
We have Michelle saying, hi, Lisa and Helene. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today. And anybody that is joining us today, if you have any questions, my dad, hey, dad, hop on. Hey. So anybody has any questions or feedback, feel free to pop them in the chat. We'll answer any questions that you have. Happy to have the feedback. So if you're on watching live, drop a little comment in, let us know you're here, because we can't see you otherwise. We don't know who's here and who's not. So great. So learning from the animals, it's amazing how we can learn from the animals. We think that we have to teach animals and make animals conform to us, but you've learned a lot from the animals.
I have for sure. And I just got back from a 17,000-mile journey across the US. It was 8 months long. And I was with this beautiful soul named Eve. And Eve and she was an animal communicator, and she really got me aware of animal calls and sounds and who everybody was, what they were doing, what they were saying to each other. And like the owls, there was like vultures in Georgia, and all of these pretty little birds, and the squirrels, and tuned into alligators. Like we talked about them while we were going through the swamps. And you know, everybody is living, everybody's enjoying their life, everybody's eating, you know, everybody's surviving, but they're happy what they're doing, and they're going along with the flow and the sunshine. And yeah, it was just really amazing to see their spirits and what they brought onto the world as in forms of energy. And
wow, I love that. You know, because animals communicate in so many ways, and as humans, we're just simply not tapped into that energy, but we can be, as as you are clearly demonstrating, we can know exactly what the animals are saying, you know, when and our bodies are the same. You know,
Mm-hmm.
our bodies communicate with us all the time. We have no idea that our bodies are speaking to us. Just like we have no idea half the time that the animals are speaking to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by listening to your body too, it'll tell you whether something's good for you or not. And that's kinesiology, you know, right down to the scientific yes or no that you ask your body. It'll lean forward or lean back. You know, I test for supplements and the health food store. You know, if my body needs a supplement, it'll lean forward. If my body doesn't need something, I'll lean back. If I'm, you know, staring at the cheese in the cheese aisle and I really want it, but I can tell my body doesn't, you know, so it's listening to those little cues and following the feel. And like your body knows when it needs to cleanse. Right now I'm on a cleanse as well. So it's just, yeah, tapping in and learning what it has to say, for sure. Listening.
Yes. You know, as humans, we have, from direct experience, I learned that we have no idea what our bodies are telling us, because just like everybody else, I learned that when our bodies display a physical symptom, that there's something wrong with us. And I had no idea that my body was telling me what was wrong. My body was showing me that there was something that I was doing that was counterproductive to my well-being. And it was giving me a direct message. And you were telling me earlier about a horse that was cowlicking, and you said that you knew exactly why, what the message was. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, horses eat all the time. When they're wild, they look for water. They go and lay down when they need to. They eat the herbs and the plants that help their systems. They're free to roam, so they forage all the time. And they know what's good for them and they know what's not good for them. Nothing's ever picked and chosen for them when they're in the wild. Their feet are done because they're walking all the time. You know, nothing's artificial. And it's a beautiful thing to watch the wild Mustangs. I've done a lot of training and working with the horses, and they have a lot of self-preservation too, because they do listen to their bodies and they know what's right for them. And so you can gain their trust by, you know, respecting them as an animal. And I've watched just recently, I mean, everybody means well with their horses. Everybody loves them the way that they're taking care of them, and they only want the best for them. But I've seen, you know, the spring is really hard and it gets really muddy. And so the horses are ended up, they feed them hay twice a day, 3 times a day. And they're also getting a substantial amount of feed because they are being ridden. And so that's a lot of grain. And horses' digestive systems are very sensitive in a way of they need to be constantly eating, or their bowels get upset. And the way that this horse came about colicking is that it's just such a hard thing to deal with and understand, because horses are also emotional beings on top of the diet that we're feeding them. And so when horses are taken out of the herd or stuck in a little pasture by themselves all the time, it's hard for them to digest the thought of being put in a trailered somewhere, being ridden for an hour, 2 hours in a different place all the time. And so it's really hard for them to come to terms with the changing atmosphere all the time. And so I saw this little horse just get really upset, and he started to colic, and There was another one that created ulcers. Ulcers, can't digest this. He was pulled from a pasture, from his pasture mates, being, free in that way of just hanging out with his buddies, into a life of work, And like I said, everybody means well, but we have to start understanding as humans that these animals are very conscious beings and do get upset. And this is what leads to physical symptoms and energetic symptoms and stuff that they pick up from other barns. And then, yeah.
So they're picking up emotional energies from other barns.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
they're walking into a different environment? They're walking into different smells, and all the horses have their own language, so they're all talking to each other as well. You got to think of that too. They're calling to each other, they're missing their herd mates, they're getting emotionally unbalanced from moving place to places all the time. So it's like a little kid being taken, from their family into the school system too. And little kids get snotty nose and upset bellies, and so do animals, so do horses. And it's learning to see this and acknowledge it within the animals so that we as humans can better understand and better help them when we do these things with the animals, because we're going to continue to do this, right? It's fun. It's a good partnership with the animal. Like, I love riding, I love showing, I love taking these horses to different places and riding, but it's just calls for more care and concern on their part.
Yeah. And that's so much like our bodies, these dear sweet bodies, they have their own language, they have their own rhythms, but we're not taught to listen to our own biological rhythms. We're taught to regiment, like, do this at this time, do this at that time. And we are then, the mind and the body are not on the same page. So then when our bodies go, hey, this isn't working for me, then we get mad at our bodies and go, oh, what's wrong with my body? I better go take some pills and make it better. Like, that's not what our poor bodies need.
Right. Yeah. It's the holistic outlook of everything within your own reality. It's everything from mind, mental connection, to the emotional connection, spiritual, to the physical. If one is out of balance, it'll throw the rest of them off. I know if I don't get enough exercise, my mental and my emotional go down. If my physical isn't taken care of, my mental isn't. If my mental isn't, my physical isn't, because I'm not in a mood to do it, So it's really recognizing this within yourself and feeling what you need at that time. And if you don't feel like running 3 miles, don't do it. If your body calls to rest and you need to be in bed all day, maybe that's exactly what your body's telling you to do. And it's just tapping in and giving yourself permission to take yourself away from the outside reality, calling into work, saying no, using your voice, and being able to do what you need to do for yourself first. Because if you don't fill yourself up first, there's no way you can fill anybody up around you, because you're going to be depleting yourself.
Absolutely, without a doubt. We have Shannon on here. She's saying, this is a great discussion. My son finally began to walk at 4 years old after spending a year with horses.
Yeah. Horses are amazing. They lift us up in so many ways, and they're like cats too, like, because they'll take that stagnant, static energy off of us, and they ground us. So whenever you touch an animal, a horse is fully grounded into the ground when they're standing there. The horses don't wear shoes necessarily, like rubber shoes, like we do as humans. We disconnect ourselves from the ground by wearing rubber shoes. Horses wear metal shoes sometimes when they need it. But generally horses are very grounded. and very mystical creatures. So they'll show you ways. And I've been shown pictures with horses that they put into my head, which is really fun because horses see in pictures. Horses don't necessarily see in human spoken language and thoughts like we do. We have thoughts constantly running through our head. They don't do that. Horses see in pictures. So they think in pictures. Whatever you think, whatever you put into your third eye and think about, that's what's going to manifest and happen. And so that's what I've learned with the animals, with my free travel, is thinking through pictures, picturing what I want to happen in my head, and then it'll start to manifest quicker. If I say I want something, I put it into a picture. It's not necessarily like, oh, I want this, I'm feeling lack and limitation because I don't have it. That's where people get hung up in the whole manifesting program. But what I've learned from horses is you picture, oh yeah, I want to go to that stream, that water, that brook is over there. I've got to get from here to there. They don't worry about the journey. They just know they're going there and they go. So that's what I did for Costa Rica, is that, oh, I'm going to go to Costa Rica, and I pictured myself laying in a hammock on the beach. Everything came in perfect divine timing. And it was pretty instant the way that things happened. And because I trusted it, horses trust, they trust that things are going to happen, and it happens. It comes very freely to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. As humans, we're taught to complicate things, and we're never taught the process of manifestation. So we're simply taught the process of reaction. It's like, uh-oh, the thing manifested, and like, oh my God, I don't like that. We don't even realize that we're the ones that manifested the situation to begin with. Then we just look at the situation, we go, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm a victim of the situation.
Right.
And then the whole thing just continues to escalate because we continue to be in that fight or flight reaction mode. I got to protect myself. I got to fix this. I got to worry about this, instead of utilizing our imagination in the way that we want, because we're using the imagination to go, oh my gosh, I don't like this. And we're just imagining the worst case scenario. But like you, if we utilize the imagination effectively, then we can see like, oh, I want to get from here to there. Just like the horse, I want to get from here to the water. And you just simply start moving your energy to the place you want to be. Yep. And like you said, when you imagine it clearly and writing it down, like enhances the effect, because it makes it that much more clear, so that we have a better idea of why we're manifesting, why do we want to go there, what's it going to give us, and we get a more complete picture, so it's easier to manifest.
Exactly. And then you'll start to notice. So another thing too is when you start manifesting and you realize, oh my gosh, I wrote that down last month and it's happened now. I have books, journals of things that I'm like, I manifested that, and I just go through it. I could write books on it. And it's a beautiful thing, because like when you first start realizing it, you start to see the synchronicities that happen. And you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, and then you start to celebrate it. And it's celebrating, and the gratitude that you give towards receiving something from the universe that has been gifted to you because you put your effort into visualizing what you actually wanted, and the universe didn't have to guess what you wanted, because it's going to throw everything at you. It's like a restaurant. All right, here's the menu. What do you want? Oh, whatever. I'll take anything. What are you going to get from the slop bucket? Like, if you're negative energy and like don't really care, but if you're okay, I want the prime rib tonight. Universe, I want the prime rib. I'm going to let it go. Everybody's going to take care of it behind the scenes in the restaurant. It's going to be cooked the way that I want it. Medium rare, sure. Side of potatoes and broccoli. They come out, bam. It's the same order. You just got to let it go and trust that it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. You don't have to sit there and worry at a restaurant if it's going to come out, or if you're going to get your broccoli, your carrots, So it's just a beautiful way of trusting the divine essence, that soul calling, right? To be able to bring it to your table.
Absolutely. And like what I've really discovered is that when we hold the vision, when we set our intention and we hold the vision steady, then the universe rearranges all of the molecules for us to deliver our desire to us. But so many times people say, I want this, but I don't have this. I want this, but I don't have this. I want this, but I don't have this. And they're not holding the vision steady enough for the universe to give them what they want. Right. They're going back and forth. I have it, I don't have it. I have it, I don't have it. And the universe goes, do you want it or do you not want it? Like, what do I do?
Yep.
So then we think that we're stuck. So we just keep manifesting the same thing over and over and over again, because it's the thing that we're looking at, but it's the thing that we don't want. And we're going, I want this, but I don't want that. And so getting that clarity is so key and so important. So we have Michelle saying, I remember the day you left. I was so jealous and excited for you. I really need to spread my wings. I raised a bunch of rule followers, not on purpose. How can I get them to live a little?
Oh, it's the abundance. It's the abundance that you can feel to be able to go out and do it. Like kayaking, being on the water for me. If you can get them out into a boat on the water, it's one of the most grounding things that I have done. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, don't plan the family vacation one step after the other, but just go and see where the car takes you. Just head out the driveway. I like to pack food because I don't know if there's going to be food there or not. Gas up the car and just go somewhere, and it's funny because like when I go, I'm listening to Siri most of the time because I'll like put in a destination, but then I'll miss a turn, and then I'll take the turn and it's like, oh, here's a farmer's market. Here you go. This is what you needed to do today. And I'm like, thanks universe. Like I would have never thought to turn here because I didn't know about the farmer's market. And then I meet this absolutely amazing person who tells me about a free campsite down the road. And so that's when the synchronicities start to happen, is when you free yourself, you free your mind, know you're in abundance, and you trust the universe to lead you on your journey, on your way.
That's so beautiful. This last trip that you took, it wasn't really like a conventional trip. No. Meaning, you simply, you knew that you had to leave. Like your soul was calling you. And yes. You were living a beautiful life, with your partner and with here having your jobs and everything, and everything was great. But at the same time, you felt that soul calling. Right. And you had the ability to say, I need to listen to them. Yep. I don't know where I'm going. And I just know that I need to go because my soul is calling me. There's something I need to do. One of the most beautiful things that I've really learned about you is that your soul purpose is to spread light. You spread light and love wherever you go. And who else in the world do you know that when a pandemic hits and shuts down the entire world, she goes in her car and says, well, here I go. I'm going out into the world to shine my light, because the world needs light right now. The world needs freedom. The world needs somebody to show them that it's okay to be out in the world. We don't
Yeah.
have to be afraid. We don't have to be tied to our homes. We don't have to be isolated into our own little prisons. And
Yeah.
we can have an amazing time. So tell us, how were you able to really tap into your soul and just simply know that even though you didn't know where you were going, that you simply needed to go? How did that all manifest for you?
It happens every time I go on a trip. It just comes up and I need to leave at that moment. My jobs around here know that I do this. Like it's my soul calling. I believe that I am also like, I'm a grid worker. So my soul needs to travel around this country, this planet, to connect the mountains, to connect the lakes and the waters. And I am very, very drawn to volcanoes. I was in Hawaii when it was erupting for 2 months, living in a tent 2 miles away from the caldera of Kilauea on the Big Island. That called me over there as well, and things lined right up. And I have a destination in mind. In November before COVID, I was going to Taos, New Mexico to see my godson and my sister. And then I was going to Sedona to see my brother over there. And COVID or not, I was on my journey. I was on my way. I was ready to go. And I knew that I was taking my car. I built it out to be a van. So I have a kitchen. It's a 2007 RAV4. And I had my bikes and my Thule on the top, and I back in Florida. But my soul just, I have these little urges and I just listen to where it needs to go. I'm very visual in my third eye. I often do see things before they happen. And I have a lot of great mentors along the way that encourage me to listen to myself. That's been hard sometimes, and like I get sad and like everybody else, but I have to be in those moments and realize that I'm releasing a lot of stuff, and the earth is shifting and the times are shifting. Just from like a galactic perspective too, we're getting hit by light waves and our genes are shifting. And so I'm feeling a lot of those changes in energy, but I'm also manifesting quicker because I'm so in tune with everything that's going on, that I can act quicker. I can react quicker. Like if I'm in a place and I feel like I need to go, I go. And then it's for a reason, because I meet somebody else on the road at that particular moment in time. It's always divine timing. Even when I got here this weekend, Lisa, everything I have to share this with everybody. So we have this little like light family commune now where Lisa lives. And I pulled in the driveway with my rig and my motorcycle on the back. Out comes Ellen, out comes Christina, around the corner comes Lisa, and then in the driveway pulls Deanna at the same time. And I felt this energetic vortex surrounding all of us. It was like meeting of the Ninja Turtles or the Power Rangers, and it was just so strong that I think that was the moment of manifestation right there. That was the moment of light. That's where we grounded in those light energies. And it was just, everybody got to see each other and then we all went our separate ways. It was so beautiful. But it's moments like that keep me going, because that was awesome.
I love the synchronicities.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Even when you were leaving on this last trip, the synchronicity of somebody needed a ride south, and you were like, hey, here we go, let's go. This is the beginning of my trip. Yep.
You call it in and it happens. She wanted to ride to North Carolina, and I was like, 2 days. Give me a chance to say goodbye and we'll head down. Ride her to North Carolina. Zigzagged my way across the country by myself, following the field, feeling the synchronicities, the whole way, meeting so many cool people. Yeah.
You know, and the way that you're so crafty and imaginative, and you have so many skills and talents, and you were able to take this beautiful little red RAV4 and take the seats out of the back and completely retrofit this car. There it is. Woo! The RAV4. You can see the trailer in the front that she's got. It doesn't work that way on the highway. It actually goes in the back, but her car is completely decked out. She can put her bicycles, her motorcycles on the trailer. She's got her kayak. She's got everything totally retrofitted. So in this beautiful little car of hers, she now has everything that she needs. She's got a place to sleep. Here's her kitchen, her storage areas. She's got a mattress in here. I'll let her tell you all about it.
Yeah, so I didn't really clean it up to show, but that was basically it. I sleep underneath the box, and I have all my clothes and my food storage on one side, sleep on the other, and I have curtains all the way around. You can kind of see it here. So here are the blackout curtains, which are really nice because nobody can see me when I'm sleeping on the inside. I have all of my clothes, cooler, food storage, place to sleep, all the way wrapped around. I got my fishing pole up there, life vest, boogie board, all of my toys that I ever need and want to play with. And then, yeah, I can pull in anywhere. Nobody suspects that I'm sleeping in a RAV4, which is really nice. I'm under the radar. I was only ever asked to leave during that 17,000 miles once from a Planet Fitness that didn't allow people to sleep over. So I slept at Planet Fitness and Walmart, and you can at Cracker Barrel as well. And then I would just do free camping anywhere I could. There was a free camping app, and I didn't really spend anything on overnights anywhere. So it's a beautiful opportunity. People ask me, you know, how do I travel? How do I make money? How do I do all this stuff? And first of all, when I work seasonally, I don't pay rent because I'm living in my car. And so my car payment is my rent, you know, and my food is so minimal because I'm not eating out all the time. And I have a very minimal diet as well. So I eat a lot out of my garden. I have a big, huge garden that I planted with a friend, and yeah, local eggs, local meats, that kind of thing. So I do a lot of work trade as well for the farmers around. But yeah.
So it's so impressive to me that you are totally self-sufficient.
Yeah.
That you're not tied down to anything. Michelle is asking, do you feel any fears?
I do. But it's not in a way of the travel. I'm very connected with people, you know, and I hate leaving people behind when I go and travel. I think that's what my number one fear is. I don't like leaving people behind. Like, I did end up leaving my partner. So we're no longer together. That's my fear. That's what I worry about. It's not the travel. It's not the going. It's not being in parking lots. It's not on the road. I don't worry about anybody being negative or, you know, hurting me. I don't worry about any of that kind of stuff, like their survival. I actually like the survival aspect of it. It's what drives me to do it. But yeah, it's leaving my loved ones. But, you know, it's something that you'll always be connected through the universe. And so it's just sending them that love energy, sending sending them the Reiki energy from a distance, and just knowing that they're there in your heart and they're traveling with you. I think that's my biggest like hurt in a way. But yeah.
Yeah. And we're always taught like that we're being a survivalist, but really it's just living. Like,
Yeah.
we're not here to survive life. We're here to just live.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yep. Yeah.
It's amazing. And you spread energy through crystals. You have an amazing connection with the crystals. Tell us about crystal realms.
So to bring it back to my journey too, is I went to North Carolina, not realizing that it was the gem capital of the country. And so my friend brought me to a couple of the commercial mining operations, and we got to mine the crystals from the sand in the buckets. And I was finding rubies, topaz, emeralds, all of these beautiful high vibrational crystals. And they hold your energy in certain ways. They shift your subtle energies to vibrational frequencies that they emit. So my favorite crystals that I'm connecting to right now are all the blues, because it brings me up into my throat chakra, and it helps me to speak my truth. It helps me to shine that light. And so I also make bracelets and jewelry. Let me just show you here. This is the one that I've been wearing my whole trip. It is blue apatite and chrysocolla. Chrysocolla looks like the world. So chrysocolla is a mix of malachite and lapis lazuli. And so it has a lot of green and blue. So it's a lot of heart energy, and it's a lot of throat chakra energy. It's very clearing, very grounding for me. And it also gives me this frequency of being able to go out and travel, because it does remind me of the world. It's just being out there in nature and being with the animals. And that's my goal. That's what I strive to be. Like, I think with COVID, COVID didn't exist really in my world. The only time it did is when I was going to the gas stations and I had to put on a mask because it was required to go inside. But that was it. And like, I was out talking with people outside, out on these campgrounds, the health food stores. There was one in Sedona, Arizona, that was just beautiful souls, beautiful people. You connect with all of these high vibrational people who are at the same level that I was and that I could relate with and have great conversations. So you attract people into your world by the feelings that you emit out into the world. So I was finding everybody that I needed on my journey at the time that I needed them. They would just show up.
That's so beautiful. And wherever you go, you always are leaving crystals. So you're kind of helping with the grid work of the planet, to activate the grid work and to anchor these frequencies, to move the frequencies around the planet, because the crystals in the planet are actually activating now. There are many crystals that are in the center of the earth that were deactivated at the fall of Atlantis. And now those crystals are starting to, they're called generator crystals, are starting to come back online, just like a generator. And they're starting to reactivate so that they can transmit frequencies through the planet.
Yeah. Very, very true. And I have crystals. I have a grid all over the country right now with the crystals that I've put in people's pockets, that I've left in nature. I did end up going to several places and mining crystals. I went to Mount Ida, Arkansas, and I mined crystals there. And I just left them along my journey, and they're all connected. They're all from my energy. Now they're connected with other people's energy, and you know, they'll give them away and do whatever they need to with them. And yeah, when the grids turn on, it's holding that Christ consciousness energy of that grid in a way that's lifting the vibrational frequency of the planet into the fifth dimension.
Absolutely. So talk about that, the lifting the planet into the fifth dimension. What does that mean for us as humanity?
It's beautiful because I feel like we live in it already, in the fifth dimensional frequencies. And it's all about coming to know yourself into the love and light. And it's seeing the separation and the duality of the third dimensional frequency and the fourth dimensional frequency. And it's really raising your body out of that fear and into the love and into knowing that there's no good, bad, right, or wrong. And knowing that everybody's on their own path, whatever path that they choose. And we're going to start in the fifth dimension. We're going to start to really follow our soul's calling and raising our frequency. So yeah, it's just a beautiful guideline in the shift of energy right now. And people are still stuck in that third dimensional, fourth dimensional frequency, but they're starting to, they look at me and they ask me questions, you know, how do you do this? And then I plant seeds for them and they'll start to look at the synchronicities, look at the times, 1111, you know, times like that where you're like, I just keep seeing this number. And I'm like, oh yeah, they mean something. Look them up, you know? And it's you're being divinely guided by your angels, you know, and that might be the message that they need to hear that day, or, you know, so it's just opening your eyes and being aware of what's going on around you in your own reality, because we're all creating it from within.
Absolutely. And this planet is such a beautiful, amazing planet, and designed as heaven. Like, you know, there's such a, from my perspective, there's such a misperception about heaven being a place that we go after we die. Heaven is not a place, right. It's a state of being. It's the state of being in peace and harmony. Our little slice of heaven right here in the middle of the Adirondack Mountains on a beautiful sunny day like this. Helene sitting out under our beautiful maple tree in the back. And yeah, this is heaven right here, right now. We are in heaven, talking in this amazing conversation, talking about all of the high frequencies, talking about how easy it is to manifest things. And it's the only thing that's keeping all of humanity from experiencing heaven on earth is these old belief systems that are not true. We have been under, we can call it under the spell of duality and polarity for a really long time, that things are either right or wrong, they're good or bad. All of it exists simultaneously, and it's how we choose to perceive it. And, you know, just like kind of coming back toward the beginning of the conversation, you know, we think that the only way that we think that humans, because we speak in language and we have all these high intellectual concepts, that we're the most evolved beings on the planet, and that, you know, that there's no value in animal communication, but that's our normal way of communicating, is telepathically, intuitively, being guided. And all of that intellectual programming that we have been under for so long, it prevents us from tapping into that inner guidance. And it gives us a false sense of what life is. And it gives us a false sense of what's wrong with our bodies, what's wrong with us, what should we do and what shouldn't we do. So as we're starting to learn how to be these free spirits, as we let go of the constructs of society and we start living intuitively guided, we start to live in harmony with nature, in harmony with the animals, and in harmony with each other, and in harmony with our bodies. And this is the ultimate, in my estimation, the ultimate form of healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we heal ourselves, we heal ourselves. As we heal ourselves, we heal the earth, and we heal each other automatically. Because when we're living in peace and harmony ourselves, we want everyone else around us to be living in peace and harmony as well, to be able to experience this level of well-being that is far beyond the average level of well-being on this planet. So this is us and our way of creating heaven on earth, is to start clearing out all of those old programmed beliefs. It's these false beliefs, these beliefs that our bodies are being attacked by diseases, that these beliefs that we have to earn a living. It's like, we're already living, we've earned our space here. And when we all work together synchronistically, you've proven that living happens and that everything we need is provided.
Absolutely. Yep. You ask and you shall receive.
Absolutely. That's the law of the universe. It's how the law of attraction works. We simply attract what we vibe. So just like you were saying in the beginning, it's like I vision it, I imagine what it is that I want, and the universe just simply, I hold the vision steady, I hold the frequency steady, and the universe simply rearranges itself. One of my favorite story, one of both of our favorite stories is, you were looking for something to hold some things together.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I was looking for a carabiner clip to hold my hair ties, like when I had long hair together. So we went on a journey and came back, and there was a carabiner clip sitting in the front of my door. And I was like, Lisa, did you have this? Is what? I don't understand. Just like miraculously appeared. And then you told me about the apple, that you can appear just by visualizing it in your hand. And I was like, cool, I want to do that with money. And we went for a walk, and I was like envisioning, I am manifesting $5,000 by Tuesday at 5:00. And I let it go, right? I get home, go in my bedroom. What was it? 2 hours later, check my bank account, and I had $5,000 in my bank account. And it was a joint account that I had shared with my partner, and her mom had given us 5,000 cash. And it was in the bank account, and I had no idea about it. And bam, it was there.
Exactly. I love the carabiner story, because I had gotten up in the morning, I walked out, and there's a carabiner laying on the floor outside of Helene's bedroom door. I'm like, where did that come from? She must have dropped it. It's like, no.
Hadn't seen it in my life.
Right? It just
there you
appears.
go.
And people don't believe, I know that most people won't believe that things just literally manifest out of thin air, but they literally can manifest out of thin air, because it's not thin air. It's all potential energy. It's all atoms and molecules. And the molecules of the universe can rearrange themselves on command. And just like the molecules of our bodies can rearrange themselves on command, we can shapeshift. And most of us look at how much your body has shifted since the day you were born. I mean, that's proof right there that our bodies shapeshift. And our bodies shapeshift in direct correlation of how we think of ourselves. So as we're growing up in time, we're like, oh, you know, now I'm 8 years old. Oh, I can't wait till I get to be 10 years old in double digits, and our bodies grow bigger and we get to be 10 years old. I can't wait to be 21 years old so I can drink and do these things and vote and all the things that 21-year-olds do. And then our bodies grow into the 21-year-old version of ourselves. You know, then by the time we get 50, it's like, oh, now it's all downhill. And then we watch our bodies go downhill to match our thought patterns.
Yep, because you're self-evaluating, and then you create it through their thoughts you're telling yourself. But if you still say you're strong and you're able and you're capable and you're certain to do what you want to do, I have so my brother's wife's grandmother is still alive. She just turned 98. They did a parade on her birthday with all the local fire engines and the police force and all the people with fancy cars, drove by her house twice, beeping and honking, and and she was out on the deck watching them. 98. This woman is still driving around. She's self-sufficient. There's no in-home care. She's like 60. But because she has such a positive attitude and outlook on life, and she doesn't let things boil down and get to her and bother her, she's just living life and doing her thing and going.
Exactly.
She's abundant.
And how long do you think that humans are able to stay in their bodies?
Oh, a pretty long time when you get your mind over matter. Oop, I got a little oh, little spider.
Little critters coming to visit.
Spider, sorry. We're gonna mess it up on me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, I think our physical bodies, because we have the preconceived, the pre-programmed notion that living to 80 or 90 years old is like a really long lifetime. What if our notion was that our bodies can live for 200 years? Living to 80 or 90 would be like 35.
Yep. The body regeneration. It's constant. Yeah.
Absolutely. Our realities reflect our consciousness. So we are now in the midst of the greatest shift of consciousness that humanity has ever been through. And this shift of consciousness is shifting from the pre-programmed mind back into the soul, into the heart. And when we start looking through the eyes of the soul, rather than looking through the pre-programmed eyes of the mind, then we see a completely different picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you are looking through the eyes of your soul, and you are really living this life of the free, the untethered soul, the soul that is free to be yourself. And even though it is hard to leave your loved ones behind when you go on your journey, you're not leaving them behind. They're all still right here. As you say, we're all still connected. But you have that connection through the heart, and you have the ability to follow the energies, which is simply following your soul's guidance, because you at the soul level, you are guiding yourself, and it's the wisdom of the universe, the wisdom of your soul, that is guiding you to be exactly where you are needed in every moment.
So beautiful.
So what would you tell to our viewers today about untethering their souls?
First, trust that it's going to happen. Set your like, just clear out everything. If you didn't have a house, if you didn't have all these tethers, what would you do? Who are you inside? What is your soul saying to you? What is your mission in this life? Just kind of clear it out and write it down. When you write those down, and more is going to come to you. And keep a journal about it. And then you'll start seeing your reality shift, and things in your reality that you don't want to create anymore, because you're not focusing on this one thing, and because you don't like it, you're creating something else by directing your energy into what you do want. So you stop creating what you don't want and trust that it's going to happen. And so just clear it all out and write what you want. I want to live in a boat in Florida all winter next year and just make food and explore. And, so write it down. Where do you want to go? Oh, I want to go all the way around Florida and then down into the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and I want an island hop. I'm going to write that down, and then follow me next year, because you'll see it on the blog. How am I going to pay for it? Who knows? Who knows? Money will come, whether it's from an investor, whether it's from government and stimulus and taxes, whether it's from all of these things. Like, you go, like, looking at different adventures in work. Like, I've been offered to go and work the beet sugar fields in Minnesota for 2 weeks. It's $6,000 just by weekly pay, and you work your butt off, and then you get all this money, and then you go travel. That's how I do it. That's, it's how do you make the most income by doing what you love? And that's driving truck around. That's driving tractors. I love that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about getting my CDL too, so I can go from one side of the country and be like, all right, I want to be in California, look up the jobs in California, go to California drive it over for the week, and then get a bunch of money and a bunch of time off, and then hang out in California. Oh, now I want to go to Mexico. Okay, boom, there. I want to go to Costa Rica, do a travel trip there. And so you have a CDL, you're doing all this. So that's my next adventure. And so it's just, yeah, what do you want to do? How do you want to live? Who do you want to be inside? And just clearing out what no longer serves you.
Yeah. One of the clearing out is really one of the huge things, because basically everything that you own is the stuff that you use, that you need, and it fits in your car. I mean, we as humans, I think that's the big, don't need so much.
Right. I'm a minimalist, because however much you own, it's only going to hold you down. It's only going to hold you down. So I learned a lot of this through my yoga practice, through the meditation, through the Buddhism, because it's all about non-attachment. And so I basically gave away everything that I didn't want to be attached to, that things that no longer were serving me. And like, it was a lot of sentimental stuff too that I let go of. And it's because, like, you need to be in the now moment, not connected, having cords still pulling you back from the past, and that's why I came into the crystals, because the crystals clear a lot of that negative energy. They clear a lot of those cords, from your subtle bodies, from your mind. And so it helps you to ground down in and to realize what it is that you do want to achieve. And by letting go of all the material, it frees your way up to going and doing what you need to do. And I have everything in my car. It has at least 2 uses. So yeah, just living minimally. just having fun, spreading good vibes.
Absolutely. I love that. So
Yeah.
clearing your clutter, clearing the stuff out of your
Clearing it-
house. I mean, that's a huge thing. Clearing the clutter out of your home. And
Yep.
more importantly, clearing the clutter out of your mind.
Yep.
How much mental clutter do we have? Start looking at your thoughts. What thoughts are no longer serving? Start being a minimalist in your thoughts.
Mhm. Go for walks. That's the best way that I can tell anybody, because it's simple. Get out in nature, go for walks, put your feet in a pool of water, listen to the brook, listen to the animals, come in peace with yourself. You know, you don't have to call it meditation, because there's a lot of stigma around that, or prayer. You know, they're both used though. I do both. I sit quietly, I clear my mind, and I just listen to what's around me, and then it ends up just silencing and going within.
Beautiful. I love that. Well, Helene, thank you so much for sharing your stories, your wisdom, your light, your love with us today. This has been a fabulous conversation. And I hope that everybody here can pick up on this vibe of the freedom to simply be,
Yeah.
to go, to explore, to have new adventures, to allow the universe to surprise and delight you, to put you in the exact right place at the exact right time, to be able to trust that, so that we don't have to continue to live in weighed down in fears and doubts and worries, that we can free ourselves, free our minds, and free our souls to come into these bodies and live healed and whole and happy.
Yes,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
So thank you everyone so much for joining us today. For everybody who doesn't know who we are, this is Helene Watrous. And Helene, oh, hi Masha, thank you for listening. Masha says, thank you. It was amazing to listen. Thank you both.
You're welcome, for sure.
So Helene, how can people reach out to you or follow you on your adventures?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook. I am known as Helene Green. It's my goddess given name. I worked for Green Goddess Natural Food Store, and that's where I learned a lot of my tips, tricks, and talents. And you can follow me on Facebook at Helene Green. Just send me a message, tell me that you met me on here, and I'll add you in. And I share everything from my travels and what I'm up to and where I go next. So I look forward to seeing you on there, and also share some advice from Horse Hippie. She's a wonderful friend of mine, and she does consciousness from a beautiful perspective as well, with the horses, and connecting to your beautiful soul and the fabulous person that you are.
Oh, that's beautiful. Donna, thank you so much for watching. She says, great show, ladies. So for everyone watching, my name is Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing and creator of Soulution Sunday, because the soul is the solution for creating heaven on earth. We are each capable of creating our own heaven on earth. And we do that when we follow our inner guidance, when we open the soul, when we let go of the shackles, and we allow our soul to fly free.
Beautiful.
So you can reach out to me. You can find me at connectingyoutoyou.com, where I help you to connect to the wisdom of your soul for ultimate well-being, to heal your body, mind, and soul. So it's connecting you to you, youtoyou.com. And you can also find me in my Facebook group, Soul Sourced Healing on Facebook. I'd love to have you join the tribe if you are not already. And you can watch me on YouTube, The Simplicity of Self-Healing with Lisa Warner on YouTube. And my book is called The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and you can find that on Amazon. So thank you all so much for watching. And please, if you're watching on Facebook, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and please subscribe to our channel. I would really appreciate it. And until next week, create for yourselves a great week and allow that soul to fly free, because your soul is your solution. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you so much, Helene. Lots of love and light.
Thank you, Lisa. Pleasure to chat with you. And thank you guys for listening. Awesome. I hope you enjoy and go on adventure, untethered.
That's right. Let life be an adventure. All right. Create for yourselves a great week, everyone. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.